What's up, everybody? Going to make this 5-3-1 video for you, and it's probably going to be a lot easier to understand than anybody has explained it to you. And if you don't know what I'm talking about Jim Wendler's 5-3-1 program that was originally written for powerlifting. And if you have the PDF, you have the ebook, page 8 literally explains it all to you, and I don't know how this program has gotten so complicated to everybody. So if you look at page 8, page 9, what this is it's literally called 5-3-1 because for a week you do sets of 5, the next week you do sets of 3, next week you do sets of 1. Now, you do 3 sets in every single week. So week 1, you would do 3 sets of 5 of a given exercise. Week 2, 3 sets of 3 of a given exercise. Week 3, it's 3 sets of 1. Now, a lot of people will say, wait a minute, Justin, what about the plus sets? Correct. So, technically speaking, in week 1, it would be a 5, and then a max number of reps instead of actually just 5 reps. Then in week 2, it would be a 3, max reps. And then in week 3, it would be a 1, and max reps. Now, another way to break this down for you is Jim originally wrote this for powerlifters. So as he said here, quote, this is for the big four lifts: squat, bench, deadlift, and standing military. So if you don't know maxes, go get your maxes. And then what he said to do as well is you're going to take your max and you're going to take 90% of it for this program. So if you're a 500-pound bencher, you would be taking, or a 500-pound squatter, for this program, you're going to be running it at 10% less. So that 500-pound 1RM would now be a 450. If you had a 400-pound bench press, your bench would now be 390. If you had a deadlift of 600, it would now be a 540. Now, anybody hearing that, you're like, wait a minute, so I'm taking 10% off my max. Why? Well, the whole point of this is so you can, continue to be able to train and continue to be able to improve. Also, the idea that on training day, so for a powerlifter, you have all the heightened awareness of people there and you're really amped up. And I've felt that way from powerlifting meets that I've done. So it makes sense why you have a training max and a competition max. However, this is where the caveat: if you're training athletes, that training atmosphere is already really high. So you might not necessarily need to take 90%. So that's the first caveat within this. If you're going to follow this hook, line, and sinker, cool, you can. But I don't want you to just, boom, take your brain out and say, well, the program said do this. Well, again, the program also said that it's for the 4 lifts: squat, bench, deadlift, and standing military press. I would caveat that and say this does not only need to be done for those exercises. You can add this in for pull-ups. You can do it with reverse lunges. You could do it with RDLs. Let's not start, don't mention doing this with skull crushers and tricep movements, okay? No. But in terms of doing it with I think you could do it with your cleans if you wanted, and your snatches and your jerks, instead of just standing overhead presses or incline bench. So you can run this program 5, as many reps as possible in the third set. Next week, 3, as many as possible. 1, as many as possible. Now, the way that you're going to, numbers that you want to think about is 85% is going to correlate with your 5, 90% is going to correlate with your 3, and 100% is going to correlate with the 1. So the way that would be working, if you work backwards, in week 1, set 3, where you're doing it for as many reps as possible, that's your 85%. 85% for as many reps as possible. And technically speaking, you should be able to get 5 to 6 reps there. If you get more, what you could do is you could bump up your max, your training max for the subsequent weeks, or you can just truly wait and see what happens in the rest of the training program. Your second set, you could have that now at 80%, or you could go 75%. It's really your choice. I don't think it matters that much. Again, it's your choice during this. Jim has talked about bumping up by the 10%. So if you follow the true 5-3-1, it would be 85% for set 3, 75% for set 2, 65% for 1. But again, that is your choice in how much you go up by that. Week 2, now you're looking at that 90%. So that'd be 3 reps And then the set before that, 3 reps, set before that, 3 reps. And Jim recommends 70, 80, 90 for being the way that you increase it. That is a little bit more appropriate because if you went, 80, 85, or excuse me, yeah, 80, 85, 90, those are going to be 3 really, really, really hard sets. And remember, with this 5-3-1, the money set is that last set. So that's the set where you're really going to get the most bang for your buck. You're going to be tapping into those high threshold motor units. Week 3, he technically has it as 95%. You could do that as 95% if you want, or you could run it at 100%. It's completely your choice. Jim lays it out where it's 5 reps, 3 reps, 1 rep. Again, completely your choice if you want to do that, or if you want to run it at 100. You could probably go 85, 70%. So 70%, 85%, 100%, jumping up by 15%. Jim in week 3 goes 5 reps, 3 reps, 1 rep. Sounds really good. You can do it that way if that's what you want. You can run this 5-3-1 multiple days during the week. If you're in season, the amount of volume that you would accumulate here in those final sets is probably not what you want to do. If you are running this in season, though, definitely do go with that 90% of your max thing that Jim was talking about, because you're going to be beat up and you're going to be tired. So understand that about the in season. Also, remember, if you're going to be going off of, that different training max, you now have to refigure out, because you could, max out in that week 3, but then you could really have just maxed out and not have a new PR. It could just be what their actual max was that you reduced it by. So keep all of that in mind. That's why I don't really advocate for, lowering the training load. What you can do is just take into account if it's in season, and then you could run, this 5-3-1 where it's, instead of 85% for 5 or more, you could do it at 80%, right? You could just minus 5% based off of this table and this chart here on what they have. That would be my recommendation. He goes in and sets it up where you have different waves, but remember, at the core of it, it is week 1, you do 5, as many as possible. Week 2, 3, as many as possible. Week 3, he says 5-3-1 as many as possible in that last one. If you really don't want to, and you just want them to lift as heavy as possible, have them go 1-1-1. So that's 5-3-1 made for you easy. We will have more of these videos coming out here soon. Make sure you click right here for more videos like this, and you click here to subscribe to our channel.